Hello everyone! I am Alice of KHR Arts and Cloud Orchid Publishing, and today I am going to talk to y'all about the halfway point for my 2025 goals. So as of today, it is the beginning of September, so it's definitely a ways past the halfway point of June, but unfortunately, I have been a busy bee and I also did not prioritize doing this video for June, so here we are. And am I meeting those goals? And am I going to meet those goals by 2026? So here is the good, the bad, and the ugly. So first things first, the super bad, super ugly is in March of this year. So first things first, the super bad and super ugly is in March of this year. Unfortunately, I was laid off from my corporate job. I was specifically laid off from my corporate job because I was a part of the mass layoffs because of the election, because of all of the stuff that knowing the results of the election was going to have a domino effect and people planning things in advance, which meant that the company I worked for was similar to a lot of other companies and that they saw the writing on the wall and they had mass layoffs. So it was through no fault of my own. It had nothing to do with me personally. It was unfortunately just a line on an Excel spreadsheet is really what it came down to. You know, what was a line on an Excel spreadsheet for them was life ruining for me. So, and I know that sounds hyperbole and that sounds extreme, but I have been here before. I've been here before several times now. This is my third time being laid off like this. My life has gotten progressively worse with each layoff, and this one is no different. And when I say progressively worse, I mean like even with getting the next job after the layoff that I had previously, my life was worse off than it was with the prior job. So my life has just been yeah. Yeah, so yay. Yay. Anyway, so because of this layoff, a lot of my plans for this year have been derailed. A lot of priorities have shifted because I was laid off. But the small silver lining, the good news is I have a lot more time now to work on things. Yay. And of course, I've been taking full advantage of that because that's the kind of human I am, in that my to-do list is water and it will fill in all the empty spaces available. And it has. The things that the layoff have impacted is that this year was the year that I was really excited to expand my con circuit and expand the con circuit that I do with my partner Neil, the literary mercenary. And what this means is specifically traveling out of state. So because when I had my corporate job, I could afford the upfront cost of doing these events where I, for this year, plan to go to Kansas City, New Orleans, Salem, Massachusetts, and Iowa City. I also planned in there a couple of themed events that are both in Indiana. And all of that means a lot of upfront cost with the cost of driving there, so gas, cost of hotels, cost of food while I'm there, extra expenses for any extra activities that I want to do, and then of course the event itself, all the cost associated with that. And so thankfully, a lot of that upfront cost I already paid for in advance. So like hotel reservations that you pay for in advance, paying for your booth in advance, all that kind of stuff. But still, I can't pay for my car gas in advance. I can't pay for the food that I'm going to eat while I'm driving, while I'm at the event, all that in advance. All that kind of stuff. I have been able to afford via my savings and via unemployment to be able to still do some of these con circuit events that I originally signed up for. But as the year is going on, I am becoming more and more nervous about being able to complete the con circuit for this year, and I am also looking at what events am I going to have to cancel for next year. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to the end of this year. I think I'm going to have to cancel some events for even the end of this year in order to make ends meet, which is very frustrating. And it's extra frustrating for this goal to be so crushed by being laid off, in that I've been here before. So back in 2019, I was doing so well with my events as an author, with book sales and the other means of income that I had at the time, that I did the same thing. I started signing up for out-of-state events, not as big as the ones that I did this year. And I was ready to make that investment in hotels and travel. And then the pandemic happened and ruined my life. So it feels very deja vu right now, and it's very triggering, and it sucks. But here we are. The fact that I have been able to complete going to Kansas City, I have been able to complete going to New Orleans, and next week, actually, I'm going to be able to complete going to Salem, Massachusetts, as well as last month, Neil and I completed doing the Bookworm Ball in Indiana. Doing those things was successful. We learned a lot, but unfortunately, we won't be able to repeat that con circuit next year unless things change, and unfortunately it looks like things are not going to change for a long time in terms of employment and everything to do with that. So con circuit goals are very much in the air and are probably not going to continue to be met. So that one is a big old question mark. The next goal that I had for this year was to complete my Love of the Sea audiobook. And that one is a good one in that, yay, we did it. We met that goal, y'all. Oh my goodness. It had already been finished recording it at the beginning of this year, and I was just slogging my way through getting all of the audio files edited. And I finally, y'all, at the beginning of this month, finished editing all 36 chapters of Love of the Sea and sent them off to my publisher at Inksmith Publishing. So we are currently in the works now of working on getting that turned into an audiobook on Audible and getting all of the marketing materials ready and getting all of that pre-release stuff ready. So that is a goal met. We met a goal, y'all. Yay. Yay us. So the next item on the list was to finally finish my next novel, Be Mine, and have it officially completed and published. And unfortunately, right now, that goal is not met. However, I am in the final stages of editing, and I did put the editing for Be Mine on pause for the past couple months because I was so close to finishing the audiobook for Love of the Sea that I just wanted to throw all of my time and energy into just finally getting that project done, which is a thing that I typically do, that when I have a project that is at the 90% mark, I put everything else on pause and just focus on that project so that we can get it across the finish line, because having that win really helps to reinvigorate and remotivate you in order to get those other projects closer to that finish line. So that's what I did with that audiobook, and I am now going to be bringing that fresh motivation to finishing Be Mine. I am really hoping to be able to hand over the finalized manuscript to the layout artist before the end of this year. I do not think that I will have the book officially available for release before January 2026, just due to how long the process takes with the layout artist and then all of the pre-marketing and getting ready for the release and all that jazz. As well as I'm currently having my friend, who is an amazing artist. She did the cover art for Succumb to Darkness. She's also going to do the cover art for the cover refresh for the Love of the Sea audiobook, and I have commissioned her to also do the cover art for Be Mine. All of that is going to take a lot of time as well. So just backing up all of that time that it's going to take for Be Mine to actually be a book available to be in my readers' hands. Unfortunately, I don't think that one is going to be a goal that we complete before the end of this year. I do think, though, a 2026 Valentine's Day release, I do think that is entirely plausible, and that is my new goal. So be on the lookout for that. Be sure to continue to follow my socials so that y'all can keep up with that journey with Be Mine. Unfortunately, with my socials, I have not met the goal of having my KHR Arts gaming YouTube channel monetized, and I am a far way off from getting this particular YouTube channel, the Alice the Author channel, monetized either. And I've been campaigning hard to be able to get the gaming channel monetized. And really what it comes down to is that I just need people who enjoy watching the videos to please subscribe. Please, y'all, please subscribe to these channels. It really does make a difference, especially when I see that y'all do return and continue watching the videos, which is so awesome, and I really appreciate it. But please, please, please hit that subscribe button. I really, really need the subs in order to be able to get monetized. So slowly but surely crawling toward that goal, but we are definitely not going to hit that goal by the end of 2025. So unfortunately, that one is not a goal that we are going to meet either. Now, I had a lot of other small goals for myself for this year, and a lot of those have not been met, and a big part of that is because I've had to shift priorities with being laid off. A lot of my time is now spent with applying to jobs, and that takes about anywhere from an hour to 3 hours of my day, and it's exhausting. So that's time away from me being able to do anything else. It's also time away in that I have to now look for opportunities that are paid opportunities, which also takes time away from doing anything else. And then of course, just existential crisis stress, which takes away spoons and energy from me to be able to have the energy and motivation to do things. So it is a struggle, y'all, and I am doing my best. And I've definitely winnowed down what my goals and priorities are to finish out this year. So the big one being, I very much want to make sure Be Mine is finished by the end of this year, just finished and ready to go off to the layout artist so that we can complete that whole process for a Valentine's Day 2026 release. That is the big goal right now. I think we're on track to be able to meet that goal. The next goal that I have that I was not expecting at the beginning of this year, but it is a fun surprise, is that I am currently recording the audiobook for my novella Pandora. And I've talked about this on my socials, and the part of the reason why I'm doing this is it is an easy win. Pandora is a short novella. It's only 12 chapters, and those chapters are short. And it is a project that I can complete in a short amount of time. And it's also going to help me with creating my own Audible, which is separate from the Inksmith Publishing Audible. This will be the Cloud Orchid Publishing Audible, so that then the audiobooks will be attached to the Cloud Orchid Publishing books already on Amazon. So that'll be a learning opportunity for me to figure out how to create an Audible account. How do you attach it to your existing Amazon account, make sure it's attached to the correct books, learning all of that. And doing Pandora, where it's a small novella, it's going to be a way smaller project than doing the Love of the Sea audiobook, so that I can learn how to do all that, because my larger goal, which is definitely going to be over the course of several years, is to convert all of my novels into audiobooks, because I know that is a thing that my readers really, really want. So that is a thing that I am taking seriously. It's just the problem is it is just me, myself, and I doing literally all of it. So please be patient with me. I am doing as much as I can, as fast as I can. I know it may not seem that way, but y'all, I do so much work behind the scenes. It takes so much more time and energy than a lot of people realize, and I am literally doing my best. So those are the big goals that we have to finish out the year. Those are the extended goals that we're going to have going into 2026 and beyond. And of course, my number one priority is going to be trying to find another corporate job, because y'all, my biggest goal of all, I need a house so that I can finally really start my life. So that's where we're at for 2025 goals. I will let y'all know January of 2026 if we made it to the finish line or not. So I want to thank y'all so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please be sure to give it a like. And if you're new, subscribe. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.